This is Barry Canada from L3 Success and Lunchtime Recordings. Welcome back to another exciting episode. We are on day number 5 of our week-long series talking about money and how it can create separation between you and Christ. We started out talking about King Solomon and Old Testament wealth and wisdom at the beginning of this series. Then we looked at money as a commodity and resource. Next, we had a great discussion about laying up treasures on earth versus laying up treasures in heaven. And yesterday, we looked at borrowing and lending. If you missed any of these previous episodes in this series, I recommend you go back and watch those lessons as they all relate to one another and help to paint the real big picture about money and how it influences your relationship with God. Today, in our 56th episode of Lunchtime Recordings, we're going to be discussing giving and receiving. On the eve of announcing our big holiday cash giveaway, it's the perfect time to bring up this topic of giving and receiving. We have to become great givers in order to become great receivers. Give, and it shall be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap. Now that doesn't get you excited, but you need to read that over again and again and again and again until it does get you excited. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that you should be, giving simply to receive. It still must be given from the heart. I say it because I want you to know that our God has you covered, and that he will give you far more than you ever could give to someone else. We have to become great givers. We can't be Ebeneezer Scrooge and expect God to bless us on earth and in heaven. Yeah, many who are rich think that they are rich because of God's blessings. Sadly, that is not always the case. There's a bunch of rich folks out there who will unfortunately not inherit the kingdom of God. They will just have to settle for the temporary joy and pleasure they receive while on earth, which will turn into pain and discomfort in the afterlife. Oh, it's getting hot in here now. Proverbs 19:17 reads, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done." Some years back, I was stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington. I was driving home from work and stopped by the gas station to fill up the tank. As I was exiting the store after paying for the gas, a homeless woman approached me and asked for money to buy some food. To me, she looked a little bit like she was, drunk or, maybe on drugs or something. And my, initial inclination was to not give her the money, right? Because I was thinking that she would use it to go buy booze or, some drugs or something. Still, I decided to go ahead and just, give her the money. And I just prayed that she would actually use it for food. Regardless, my heart was in the right place. I later learned from someone much wiser than I that, I could have simply just, bought food from her, went back in the store, bought some type of, food that you can put in the microwave and then gave that to her. And then that would have met the intent. And, maybe that's something I'll consider, in the future if I run across, another homeless person who's asking me for money. But I believe that as long as I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart, and with a genuine understanding that that person needs the money for the reason or intent that they've asked me for it. So, that is what it is. Imagine if the world was more generous in its giving. If all of us just, simply gave more, what would that actually look like? I think that would look like the end of poverty. There's actually enough money in this world to end poverty if we wanted to. That just happens to be one of my small goals within my sphere of influence. That is to use my reach, my prosperity, and my business to help others. Wayne Grudem, the author of Business for the Glory of God, which we have referenced several times this week, says this: "A large reason business activity has not yet solved world poverty is negative attitudes towards business in the world community." Now, when I read that, it made me think about, my own business and then the contest that I had, a couple of months ago or about a month and a half ago. In that contest, my intent was to give away cashback memberships to anyone who posted on my blog their favorite place to shop. Very simple. And randomly, I would select 3 people out of that, group of folks who posted and give them a free VIP membership for an entire year. The cost to me, $99. The cost to them, 99 cents to activate the cashback voucher. Do you know how hard it was to get people to join that contest? It was like pulling teeth. That's the wall we as business people run into often. There's a negative mindset that is brought on by lack of knowledge, or perhaps from a previous bad experience that person may have had with someone in the same business activities that I do. But as I always say, not everything and everyone is bad. You have to get to know the person and begin to trust the person and understand the intent behind that individual's motives. Now that trust has been established, and many of you know where my heart is, plus it's the holiday season, and I just want to give until I can't give anymore. But I will let you know more about that, later on in a separate video. As I've said before, God gives us the ability to produce wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18 says that. Knowing this, why would we not want to give until our hearts are content? I mean, seriously, why wouldn't we? If we have ample, supplies, resources, giving some of those resources to someone who has little, it's a great thing. I mean, in doing so, you will receive great measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap. That's what you get in return. Because giving starts the receiving process. Give, and ye shall receive. Proven over and over again. We could go on talking about this because there's so much about giving and receiving and so many blessings that come from it that we can go on forever. But it has to end at some point, right? The last part of this series will be tomorrow, and it's going to be a great conclusion to what we've been discussing all week. I do appreciate you sticking with me throughout the week here. I hope and pray that the message may benefit you. I pray that the message will lead you to God and lead you to making the right decisions, and that you may use it, to bless others. Please be sure, as always, to like and share the lesson so as to bless others with this particular message, and the opportunity for this message to reach others. And don't forget to join the contest so that I may be blessed by passing on a blessing to you, and you can be blessed by passing on that blessing to someone else, and so that a single blessing blesses us all. I hope that makes sense to you, because it does to me. Hey, this is Barry Canada from L3 Success and LunchtimeRecordings.com. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care, and God bless.